It's Josh and Derek in the morning.
What is this?
It's so stupid.
Hey, I got a joke to start off with.
Oh, gosh. Okay. It's
off
not the
cuff.
joke I told you before.
It's not.
Okay,
It's not.
Good,
Knock,
good,
knock.
good. Who's there?
I eat mop.
I ate mop poo.
That's
I
gross.
ate my poo. Yeah.
That's gross. Hey, everybody.
Welcome to the podcast. That's what we do.
Starting off with a banger.
Yeah. A banger.
Oh, I heard that joke this morning and thought it would be funny.
I don't even know what episode this is. Like 128 or 129? Somewhere around there?
Somewhere around in there. Let's see. Because we still got one in the hopper. So, yeah, somewhere around there.
This is our Christmas episode.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. I wonder, I guess I could put this one out.
This will be 128.
This will be 128. I guess I can put this one out like the day before or the day after Christmas or something.
I like it.
Wait. No. Would it? Yeah.
Well, either way.
Yeah.
If you are listening to this before Christmas,
This will come out on the 24th.
then I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas tomorrow
Merry Christmas Eve.
with your families.
Yeah.
And,
I'll be at work
You'll be at work.
on the 25th.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your service.
You're welcome for my service.
I hope you don't have to jump out of any ladders.
I hope not either. Whew. Ladders are miserable. You got a story for us.
I do. I'll start off my story. So, we talked about last week
Would
about...
this be like, how's your week?
Nah.
No? Okay.
No. So, we talked last week about Christmas decorations.
Yeah.
So, my wife has these... They're basically blow-up medicine ball looking things, like the size of those. 3 different sizes, 3 different colors, but they have like a Christmas ornament top on them.
Makes them look like Christmas ornaments.
They're called holly balls.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
I've
really
seen
hard.
these. Yeah.
It's hard not to laugh when you say that. Anyway, our holly balls broke loose. They're tied down with like a really thick, it's like fishing line, but it's super, super thick.
Yeah.
And evidently the wind got so bad that they broke loose. And they go on a journey. So I'm going to show Josh, not everybody else can see it, but this is my house right here. They went all the way down my street, and this is all paved now.
Yeah.
And all the way up to here, all the way over this road, and then down into the bottom of that hill. Now, that's a pretty steep hill right there. Well, we didn't know where our holly balls went. So Danielle sent me, she posted on our Facebook group, our HO Facebook group, just said, hey, has anybody seen these or whatever? So people, and this is how insane technology and community is when they're put together, but people started pulling up their Ring cameras, their Ring doorbell cameras, and were able to figure out what side of the neighborhood they were on. We didn't know where. They were over half a mile from my house.
Jeez.
The wind took them. And they were fine. Like the
was this
Christmas
during the
reports-
bad weather, like yesterday? Or?
It was like a couple days ago.
Okay.
Because I wasn't about to get out in the rain last night. Look for them.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I go and I get them, and I'm like, that's insane. They traveled like it was probably 3/4 of a mile.
Yeah.
Which is nuts. Anyway, as I'm getting back in my truck or I'm walking back up to my truck carrying these big old balls that look really weird.
Yeah.
I see some people, some construction workers around a truck. They're obviously trying to like break into the truck because they locked their keys out or whatever. Well, I have a lockout kit.
Huh.
So I was like, hey, y'all need some help? I got a lockout kit. So they're like, yeah, that'd be great. So I pull over. About 5 minutes later, we had the door open. And they're like, oh, thanks, man. Thanks. I get in my truck. I'm like, all right, heading out.
Turns out it wasn't their truck.
No, it was. But I'm going back to my house now. And I don't know, 10 houses down. These are all construction sites right now on the backside, the houses that are being built. About 10 lots down, there was a box truck that was stuck in the mud. The driveway was still mud. It hadn't been poured yet. And he had his box truck, and it was buried. And I'm like, I rolled one, and I was like, hey, man, you need a hand? And he was like, yeah, if you don't mind, that'd be great. So I stopped and pulled him out.
Yeah.
And then I went home. And I was just thinking about, that made me feel good. Like, I don't want to toot my own horn, but like, I was searching for holly balls, and then I go and I'm able to help somebody break into what I hope was their car.
Yeah.
And then I helped this dude get out.
Yeah. You helped 2 people steal a car.
I helped 2 people steal
nice
cars.
Of you.
And right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just thought it was weird that it literally like 5 minutes apart.
Yeah.
I had these two people who like this one was gonna have to call a locksmith. This one was gonna have to call a tow truck.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Anyway,
That's awesome.
I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
That was my Christmas charitable,
Christmas charitable donation.
whatever. Yeah.
Man, that's awesome. And that, like, honestly, if you, and I feel like this is kind of a, I don't know, a mentality. But if you like open yourself up to like wanting to help people, you'll find a lot of opportunities to do that. You
And
know?
it feels good when you do it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I love being able to, like I bought that lockout kit specifically for stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I can't lock my keys in my car, neither can
Yeah.
Danielle. So we're not going to use it on ours. But
Well, I mean, that's one of the biggest, to me, that's one of the biggest parts about being a Christian is like helping others and doing stuff like that. Like, I've heard it said before, like God doesn't tell you not to give a crackhead money.
right.
Like, even if you know it's a crackhead,
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't say don't, like he says, you know, do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no preface to that. There's no, and so like that's a big thing for me. And like I think it all stemmed from my parents because like we were dirt poor, like we were so poor.
Yeah. We were too.
But they were always giving money.
Really?
Always giving money to people. Cool. We had people come stay in our houses. We were paying people's cell phone bills when we didn't have enough money to pay our cell phone bills.
Wow.
We constantly would like, I mean, we had like probably 4 people over the course of like that I can remember that came and lived with us. We housed some kids and their parents were going through a rough time before and just needed like a break, you know. Man, like they did all kind of stuff like that. And I always like looked at that as like, man, this is like, we literally, the church, like we talk about, what's it called at Highlands, the Christmas thing, the
Giving Hope,
mm-hmm. where they, if you're not a member of Highlands or you don't know about Highlands, they do like everybody brings in Christmas presents or toys for kids and stuff like that, and then the parents get to come shop, and it's almost like a market or like a Walmart, and they get to pick out stuff for their kids, and then the parents get to be the heroes that day, and the church provides Christmas for them. We had that. It was a really weird situation because I guess everybody, the church wanted to see us opening the gifts, and so like we had to open the gifts on stage in front of the church. I was like, why is it like, this is weird? Like, that's Santa weird. Why did Santa bring our gifts here?
Yeah.
But anyways, so we were in like that type of a situation, but always giving, like always doing something for others and always helping out. And that's something that I like going through the intentional fatherhood book that I'm like trying to do. And like I was in a car with some people recently, and Jason was with us, and I was like, there was a homeless guy, and I was like, hey, and like I tried to roll down my window. I was in the back seat and it was locked. I was like, hey, can you unlock the window real quick? And they're like, why? I was like, I got some cash. There's a guy.
Yeah.
I feel like he needs it more than me. And they turned around and they were like, no.
Who is this?
I'm not.
Okay. You were riding with somebody.
Yeah, I was riding with somebody, and they were like, no, they're you know, they're just panhandling or anything like that. And I didn't say anything. I didn't mention anything. But like to me, it's like it doesn't matter to me if they're panhandling. Mm-hmm. Like I'm blessed. Mm-hmm. I bless others. Mm-hmm. That's it. Even if I'm poor, I'm still blessed. Mm-hmm. And so I bless others. And that might be like a foray into the, and like with business, I don't know if we've talked about this on the podcast before, but like to me, my goal in business, if I feel like God has called me into business, my goal in business is not to make insane amounts of money. My goal as a business owner is to give anything that needs to be given. Like, if somebody comes to us and they're like, hey, we need this guy's house burned down, they need 10 grand. It's like, well, me and you can find 5 between the two of it. Like, even if it cuts into my profits or if it causes me to not have money that week,
right?
Whatever. Like, cause my goal as a business leader is not to hoard my stash. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's to, if I've got this much money, then that's how much money I have that I can give to whoever needs it. Obviously, I can use it as well.
Sure.
And I can buy things, but I don't know. That's my mentality with business, and it's probably not a good business mindset.
No, I think it is. I think it is,
Yeah.
and I think it's because somebody said one time, if God can get it through you, He'll get it to you.
Yeah.
And that's it's the concept of tithing. If you think about it, like if when I first came to Highlands, that was one of the first messages I ever heard.
Yeah.
Was and I don't remember who the pastor was. I'll have to go back and look, but
Creflo Dollar probably.
But no, and they were talking about tithing and how, I always viewed tithing as you donate to a church, like you're donating money to a church. And that's not at all what it is.
Yeah.
It's you're giving God back the first of what He's given you.
Yeah. It's his anyway.
Yeah. And when you do that, that act of giving allows, so like there's a spirit of Baal is what it's called, Baal. It's a lower G God. And it's basically the spirit of greed or like always got to have more.
Yeah.
And that spirit is on money. And so when you tithe, in that act of giving breaks the spirit of Baal off of that money, and God's able to bless it so much more in doing that. And so that's kind of what, and I think once you realize that, once people understand that concept, tithing becomes so much more, it's like, I get to do this now. You know what I mean? And then when you do above and beyond that, that's what most churches call their offering. So you get your tithe and your offering. Yeah. Your offering is above and beyond. It's like what you give to Giving Hope, or what you give to the homeless guy on the side of the road, or whatever. And but I mean, if you, even if you look at people who are not believers, they'll tell you that they give about 10% of their income away. Yeah. Because they think there's something there. They're like, I don't know what it is. Yeah. I know the Bible talks about it. I don't know, but I don't know. Yeah. But I mean, even people who are not believers will tell you that there's a concept. If you give, you're going to receive more. Well, that's
my mom used to always say, you can't outgive God.
Yeah.
And so like, it doesn't matter how much you give away, it's going to come back.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah. What were you talking about? You finding stuff and
so it's funny that you say that. If you whatever, because then I went to check on one of our rental houses, and I literally get out and I found a $20 bill on the ground. It's that's funny.
And then we're about to give it to somebody else.
We're about to give it to somebody else. So that's funny.
Yeah. You were commenting too on how technology and community kind of like come together. Yeah. With finding the holly balls.
So did I say that on the podcast, or were we just talking about it?
No, yeah, you said it. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Sorry. No, you're good. And so the technology thing leads into something that we talked about last week, the Chat GPT thing.
Right.
So I saw this really interesting thing. It was, I don't know, so our healthcare system, most everybody has health insurance. That health insurance can deny a claim based on whatever they think whatever reason they think it needs to be denied. So anyways, doctors, if they feel like that the patient really needs whatever it is, they can write like an email to the insurance company and citing different reasons and why they think that it needs to happen and all this other stuff. So
basically appeal the denial.
Yeah, an appeal. And I saw this doctor who's using Chat GPT to write those letters for him. And so like literally it was like, this patient with some type of disease and they need an MRI or they need like this specific test ran. Well, then insurance company says no. And so he types in GPT. He's like, I'm just going to make the disease and all this other stuff up. But it was like, can you write me a letter as a healthcare provider to an insurance company claiming why a patient with rheumatoid arthritis needs a XYZ surgery or XYZ test, and then cite different academic articles about why this needs. And then literally the thing is like copy, paste, send.
That's so crazy.
Dude, what the heck?
That's awesome.
It's like, I mean, I people are talking about too, like sending letters that are like formal, like almost like a lawyer's letter that's like, hey, I have this happening. Can you write me a letter based upon XYZ? And then it just goes, Zoop.
That's insane. Technology is so cool.
I've messed around. There's like 2 more AI things that I've messed around with recently. One of them is interior AI. And so you take a picture of your room and then it's got like all these different like modern, mid-century modern. It's got, bohemian. It's got all these different styles. And then you upload the picture of your room and it kind of like makes the room look like whatever you want, like whatever that, and it stages different items and stuff and makes you see what the room would look like. It's not Chat GPT. It's kind of clunky.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's also really cool. I think I still have the pictures of it. So this is what our living room would look like with mid-century modern type furniture.
That's a lot better than I was expecting.
And then
did it take your furniture out?
Yeah, it took our furniture out. I think it still used the color palettes of our furniture.
Okay.
But then this is from like looking from the TV wall out towards the big window, and this is supposed to be like ski chalet looking. So I mean, it's got some of the it's still got some of the characteristics of the room, like the fireplace and the window. But that one, and there's 2 different styles. You can either have it just like kind of set up.
What is that called?
Interior.ai. This is a modern look for our living room, which I think it started getting a little wonky there.
Yeah.
Because there's no way that much stuff. And then the last one was not even close to like being anything that looked like our living room.
Yeah. No.
This farmhouse style. But it's a cool one. There's another one called Lexia.art. And you can kind of type in prompts and then it will create a photo based on that prompt. So if we go to, it's Lexia.art. So it says, describe your image. So what would you like it to make an image?
Do Santa on a Lamborghini on a $100 bill.
Are there anything? It says negative prompt, describe things to exclude. So is there anything that you would like to exclude, or you just want to let it run?
Just let it run.
Okay. It is generating the art now. Generating.
What is this called?
This is Lexia.art. So I got Santa in a Lamborghini.
Didn't get it on the $100 bill.
Didn't get it on a $100 bill. But you got Santa in a Lamborghini.
So is this that's not like a Google image search?
No.
Okay.
And then so there's different, like, fewer artifacts or match the prompt pretty.
So search for Donald Trump flying on an eagle. If you're not watching this, it's super. This is going to be super boring for you. If this is as cool as I'm hoping it's going to be, it needs to be our thumbnail.
So this is going to be match prompt directly, and then so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it back down, kind of to where it was, and we'll see what it comes up with. Because I haven't played with the settings enough, and like, see, there's experimental settings that I haven't even touched yet.
Okay.
You got a bird on top of Donald Trump, and then you got
the other way around.
Yeah.
I can see potential there if they can get it right.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying is the Lexia.art.
Lexia.art.
Yeah. And so there's some of these AIs that like people are pushing that like they're not as cool. Like Chat GPT is like got it figured out, I think, for the most part.
Yeah.
So anyways, speaking of AI.
Speaking of the next thing we're going to talk about.
Yeah, speaking of the next thing that we're going to talk about. So there was a school shooting scare.
Yeah.
In Tuscaloosa.
And across the state and country too.
And I was leading into that. And if you haven't heard about it, in Tuscaloosa, Hillcrest High School got a call in for a school shooting that there was and I was on shift.
Really?
And we were actually at the fire college, so we were really close to where that was, and thinking that maybe we were going to get called to it. But I mean, from the description that came in, it was like, this is real.
Yeah. It
wasn't, because some of these that come in, it's like, somebody might be on the premises with a gun or something like that. But this was like, this is real. Like this is 100%. It was called in by a teacher that was there. They're in this room, and the shooter is in this room. And so it was very like,
wow.
There was no, and so it happened. 17 schools that I've heard of in the state of Alabama, and then multiple schools across the nation. And it was the same like prompt every time too. It's the same, like it was this and this. I don't want to give too much information out because I don't know how much is out in the world right now. But yeah.
That's so crazy.
It's very scary. All the schools in the county went on lockdown.
Yeah. We got texts. So Danielle texted me about it, and then the school started sending out their automated messages. But that's terrifying.
Yeah. I have two kind of discussion points on this.
Okay.
The first one is what if this happens at your daughter's school, what are your actions?
So both of my kids have a bulletproof vest plate in their backpacks.
Man, I've been debating that.
Don't even debate it, just do it.
It's yeah.
And both of and what I told them was that it's a shield. Like Caden kind of understands more about bulletproof, but with Addie, I told her it was a shield. And I said, if a bad guy comes in there with a gun, get your backpack and put it on backwards. So put it right here. And we kind of practiced that, like just her putting it on real quick.
Yeah.
And that gives me a little bit more peace of mind. Now, like, what am I going to do? I'm going to go up there and I'm going to do everything in my power to get in. Yeah. And I guess it just depends on the response. I feel like the police we have in Tuscaloosa, I feel like we're fortunate. That I don't think they would do what they did in Uvalde. It wouldn't stand around for an hour.
Well, so I think a lot of people saw what would happen in Tuscaloosa the other day, and I think it put a lot of people at ease because there were like 100 cops immediately on scene, and they were clearing rooms and going through classrooms and stuff. So that gives me some peace of mind.
Absolutely.
As a dad,
one of my best friend's dad was one of the guys that went through and cleared it out.
Really? Yeah.
That's somebody I would want in there. That dude's
I think
legit.
It's like it's so hard to put yourself in that front because like your immediate reaction is like I want to be there. Side note to that is these guys have way more training.
Yeah, absolutely.
Than I do, and like I don't want to get in their way.
Right.
But like it's still like your brain still goes to like I want to do everything that I can.
Yeah.
And so I guess my reaction is going to be probably like get on scene, find somebody I know,
see what's going on,
and then offer aid.
Yeah.
Whether that's first aid or what, because I've got my my IFAC in the car, so I'll have that. And I carry, so I'll have that. There's almost no capacity that they would need me as like that, but they might need me as first aid. Yeah. Because in a mass casualty incident, you're going to need all the hands you can get.
Yep.
But also, if you don't know, if your kid's in school or you're a teacher, the prompts that they're giving you now are run, hide, fight.
Mm-hmm.
So run away, get out if you can. If you can't, hide, barricade yourself in somewhere, and then find weapons or find something that you can use as a weapon and fight once they get through.
Yeah.
I hope nobody ever has to go through that, and I hope it doesn't ever get to that point within Tuscaloosa.
Imagine how many school resource officers we could have provided if we had spent that $30 billion that we sent Ukraine on school resource officers instead of. I digress.
So that, I guess, I mean, kind of leads into my second point a little bit. When we talk about resources, is it seems to me, and this is just a theory, and it's like this is the only thing that is back in it. I haven't heard any talking heads talk about this or anybody talk about this, but it seems like that there's a nationwide test of resources right now with the people shooting the power grid up in North Carolina. And then now this, where it's like, you know, multiple schools across the United States. Like, what's the actions? What's going to happen? And one thing that they did too, that they realized is once they realized that it was possibly a hoax or something, is to pull officers back into the city because they didn't know if there was something else going on. But I don't know. It seems like there's a test of resources right now, and I hope that's not what it is. But like, it seems like these two things that are like really close together, and it's kind of a big deal in both regards. But I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely see that, and it just makes you wonder, like, who is testing us?
Yeah,
is it like Russia? Is it,
could be some domestic?
Yeah,
and whoever called that in should be tried as a terrorist.
I completely agree.
The people who shot up the power grid as well.
Absolutely.
Because there's a thing that came out not long ago that was like, if we had a massive power grid failure, like if somebody attacked our power grid, I want to say it was like they expect like 90% of the population to pass away.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially if it happens in an extreme temperature season, like in the heat of the summer or the coldest part of winter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So unless it's spring or fall.
So I have a generator.
Yeah.
And I have about 50 gallons of gas stored back. And then I also have a solar generator. It's called a Blue Eddy. But anyway, I have one of those and a few solar panels. I think 5 solar panels total.
Yeah.
So I can't run my whole house off that. But that would be enough for me to keep an air conditioner going or whatever. And I've been looking at a lot of land lately to buy a place, and I want to have a camp house that's solely off grid, has well water, has solar power, and has
I got a guy you need to talk to.
Wood burning stove.
Once you get to that point, I've got a guy you need to talk to about your solar power stuff.
Okay.
He's very, very good. I'll plug him in. CNS Solar here in Tuscaloosa.
There you go.
Fantastic. He's built stuff like that before and is very, very knowledgeable.
Awesome. CNS Solar.
C and S Solar.
C and S Solar.
Ampersand S.
How can they find him?
Online.
Just Google him?
Just Google CNS Solar Tuscaloosa. Really good dude. He goes to Highlands too. He's a really good guy. I think that's something that people don't put enough stock into as well, is having a generator. Because if the power goes out, this has always been, to me, this has been a talking point about people talking against electric cars is, well, what are you going to do if the power goes out? To which my response is, well, what are you going to do if the power goes out? Because I don't know if you know this, but the gas station is powered by electricity. The pumps that pump it out of the ground are electricity.
Yeah.
Are you going to siphon 20 gallons worth of gas out of a pit in the ground? No. Probably not. No. So, like, if the power grid goes down, it doesn't matter what vehicle you have, unless you have a freaking gas tank above ground that's 5 feet up in the air, because then it can force
down.
feed it down. But like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
People are so insane.
Yeah. I also have a fun fact. I have a little pump that's drill powered, so you can hook up a drill
Oh
to it,
yeah.
and it like has hose attachments and stuff.
That's awesome. I saw one of those the other day, and I was like,
It's
man,
cheap. They're like $10.
yeah, I would really like one of those.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, and I'm going to go back to the scariness of school shootings to segue into, you know what else is scary? I was watching, I don't remember, it was YouTube or something, and Joe Rogan was talking about short-faced bears. Have you ever heard of a short-faced bear?
I have.
So they don't exist anymore.
Oh, good.
They imagine the biggest bear that's ever existed.
Mhm.
So like way bigger than a polar bear. Polar bear, if it stands up on its feet, is like 3 meters tall.
Yeah.
That's like 9 feet tall.
Yeah.
So imagine something bigger than that. So you're thinking 10, 12 foot. Has the agility of a house cat,
Mm-hmm.
but is a bear.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
That evidently they're saying that is what kept people from crossing the Bering Land Strait to get into the U.S. So like we couldn't get over here until that
we
thing
shot
died
them
off.
all.
Yeah. That's terrifying. If you look at pictures of this thing, like it looks gnarly. Like it's some of that,
Yeah.
like it looks mean. But if you like that, could you imagine coming up on one of those jokers? I wouldn't want to cross the Bering Land Strait either.
I'm glad that I was born in this generation.
Me too.
Like, there's too much crap in the past.
Yes.
That, like, dude, you mean I got to go out and I got to find food today?
Right? And you don't just mean in the pantry?
Yeah.
No,
Jeez.
like I wouldn't want to have to fight one of these things. Like,
No. Saber-toothed tigers?
my gosh.
Screw that.
Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Other humans?
Jeez.
I mean, they like Tyrannosaurus Rex is
Blue-haired
bad.
liberals.
How crazy are other humans, man? You're just walking along, and then all of a sudden you come to just a pile full of crazy people, and they're like, we're cannibals, by the way. It's like, oh,
That's
jeez.
crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't really have anything else on short-faced bears.
No, that's insane.
Yeah.
I've always been. Nature's freaking scary.
Yeah, it is.
Speaking about scary things,
That reminds me of Family Guy.
uh-huh.
I think it's Family Guy. They have this guy, the weather guy.
Oh yeah, it's gonna rain.
Yeah, it's gonna rain.
Remember, we used to have that sampled in our songs.
I don't remember that.
Oh, well,
anyway,
it's
he
fine.
also goes, "Dang, nature, you scary."
I love the weather guy on Family Guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, speaking of scary things, did you hear the other day that they have not created? There's been a breakthrough in the energy market where they have fusion has happened.
Okay.
So for people who don't know, fusion essentially is you put in a set amount of energy
Mm-hmm.
and then you get more energy in return than what you put in. That's fusion. So when they talk about like nuclear fusion, they're putting a set amount of energy in and then more is coming out. And like the Hadron Collider is one of those type things where it's like they're putting enough energy in and they're creating essentially a sun inside. But within those experiments, they can't stop the reaction. They just have to let it die out on its own. But with this, and it was at Lawrence Livermore Labs, they have created, essentially they put energy in and then it creates like a sun the size of a pinhole, or like a pinhead. And then they can stop putting energy in and then it stops producing this sun thing. And so this is like this is a huge breakthrough.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's not being talked about more. And they've replicated it multiple times. And so this is a thing that within the science community, they thought it's like 15, 20 years off. And they've done it now, which has huge implications for energy companies. And in my opinion, this will probably get squashed if they can't find a way to monetize it. Because if you can't find a way to monetize it properly,
How would you not be able to monetize?
monetize. like a subscription style. Like with your power bill, you get a power bill every month, roughly for the same amount of money each time. With this type of thing, there's no way that you can charge that amount of money for the service that it's provided, because it's not, you put in more than it's getting out. So every time you put in something, you're getting X amount returned back.
Yeah, but sell that to a power company.
Sell it to a power company, but then the power company, the power company could use that, but then everybody's going to know power should be cheaper than this.
Well, most power companies are like not-for-profit companies, so it would be cheaper. Yeah, Southern Company's a not-for-profit. I'm almost positive of that.
They're on the like. I mean, they're
a huge company.
They're a publicly traded company.
Are they?
Yeah, they have dividends and everything.
I may be wrong about that. I just assumed.
I think most are for-profit companies. I don't think there's very many that aren't. And I could be wrong about that, but I know that Southern Company is for sure a publicly traded company. But this is, so since the scientists have figured it out, now is the time when they hand it over to engineers, and engineers figure out like a box or something to put this in. But I mean, this could power everything.
Yeah, no, it could be huge.
Yeah. If somebody doesn't die in the process and then the information gets buried.
No, they're not a nonprofit. Right. I thought they were a not-for-profit. I'm wrong.
Which reminds me, too, of, the U.S. government gave all the telecom companies a bunch of government money to put in fiber optic cables across the United States, and they did it, and they've never used it because they can't figure out how to charge for it. Like, they can't charge more money for the product than their current, because the government supplemented the money. And so the part of the contract was the government supplements this. And so it's not a crazy, I mean, you could be getting way more internet than you're currently getting, but it would have to sit like relatively around the same price.
And they can't figure out how to do that.
They can't figure out how to charge for it. So there's probably billions of dollars of infrastructure that is just laid to waste because they can't figure out how to charge for it. And that's the thing, like with this, where it's like, if they can't figure out how to charge for it, then like,
so why is that stopping them?
Here's another thing.
Just go with $50 a month.
The thing with insulin, where like the guy who created insulin came out and he was like, this should be free for everybody. Mm-hmm. And then now insulin is like through the roof because people figured out they can charge for it. Mm-hmm. Water comes from the ground. Yeah. You drill a hole till you hit water and then pump it out of the ground.
Yeah.
But we're dumb and we pay for it every month.
Well, we paid for the cost. There's a lot of costs
sewage and all that stuff too.
Well, you got to pay somebody to dig the hole. You got to pay somebody to pump it out. You got to pay somebody to lay the pipe to get it to the treatment facility so they can clean it. Then they got to pay for somebody to, like, there's a lot of costs involved with that. Water, I don't mind paying for those things. Yeah. Now insulin, like when people say it should be free, like that's stupid. Nothing should be free because you're telling me that somebody has to make it and somebody has to sell it.
I wouldn't say needs to be free, but like the
much
prices,
lower cost.
The prices that they're charging now are ridiculous. I mean, it's like $1,000 for insulin.
So the libertarian in me is like, I don't want the government involved in anything. But at the end of the day, like government already regulates the crap out of everything else. Why would we not just let them step in and say, hey, or at least say, hey, we're getting rid of your patent. Now which didn't the patent just expire on insulin?
Maybe.
I think it just expired.
But then it becomes public property, right?
And then anybody can sell it.
Yeah.
So you're about to start seeing it get a lot cheaper.
But the insulin was already, like, the guy gave the patent away.
So then other companies should be able to come in and start making insulin for half the price, and then somebody will come in and make it for half of that price, and you'll start seeing it come down lower.
But technically, wouldn't they already have been able to do that because the patent was for free? So why it was open source?
So why are they not?
I guess because everybody knows how much money they can make.
So let's go. Somebody will go in and start a company making insulin for half the money, and they'll make a killing too.
Oh yeah. Well, have you seen that? Was the Mark
And if
Cuban?
not, we'll do that.
Have you seen the Mark Cuban thing?
Yeah, wasn't he doing like all prescriptions though? Not just
it was. Well, there was a bunch of prescriptions that they had. It wasn't like they didn't have all prescriptions. Like there was some stuff that you couldn't get from there, but it was cost plus, and it was dramatically cheaper than it, because I take omeprazole for heartburn, and it was like a fraction. Like, granted, my insurance pays for a lot of it, but I mean, what the insurance company was paying for, I mean, I could have got it for way less than that.
really.
Yeah. You want to talk about fun stuff now?
Let's talk about fun
I
stuff.
feel like we've talked about a lot of
downer episode.
a lot
We went
of-
from giving and generous
Yeah.
to bad.
So I'll ask this question and then we can go on and talk about other stuff and then come back to this question.
Okay.
To give you some time to think.
Okay.
Best Christmas gift you've ever gotten.
Okay.
And we can come back to it.
Okay.
This is something I saw on TikTok. It's fun questions to ask your partner when you're bored that don't completely suck. And so I feel like we could do our spouses, but we could also do each other's.
Let's do it.
If someone told you your partner was arrested without giving any additional explanation, what's the first assumption you would make and why?
She got into a fight. She got into a fight with somebody who was doing something wrong to somebody, like they couldn't stand up for themselves. Yeah.
Drunk driving. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
All right.
I'm just kidding.
Meg,
I'm just kidding. In all honesty, hitting something or somebody with their car.
because she wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Texting and driving, Snapchatting and driving, TikToking and driving. That would be my first. That would be my go-to. Honestly.
You just said TikToking and driving.
Yeah.
Like that's a thing.
Yeah.
Like
watching TikToks and driving.
Like I know, but could you imagine if you said that to somebody from 40 years ago?
What would be mine?
TikToking and driving.
What do you think?
Yours would be
Public indecency.
I'm gonna say I don't know, man.
Mine would be you accidentally carried a gun somewhere you weren't supposed to.
100%.
That would be like
100%.
it's not intentional.
Right.
But it was like you walked into an airport with like an AR strapped to your back and you're like, "Oh, my bad. Like I forgot it was on my back, guys."
Or a pistol.
Yeah.
It's a little more realistic.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say yours would be I don't know, man, something to do with Cheese Louise.
Really?
Yeah, like you
Tax evasion.
not tax evasion. I was thinking more like I don't know, you like somebody trying to sue you for getting sick off some cheese sandwiches or something. I don't know.
If your partner broke the world record for something, what would it be? For example, most consecutive hours spent sitting on a toilet.
Most consecutive hours spent on TikTok.
That would be your wife?
That would be my wife.
Gosh, it would. I mean, honestly, it would be hard I feel like both of our wives would be in that competition. Like they would be neck and neck for a long time.
Yeah.
Um,
And I say that like Danielle's really only on TikTok in the evenings. So
Yeah.
like while we're getting the kids ready for bed, like the kids are watching a cartoon or whatever, she's on TikTok or doing something. And then when we get in bed, she's like until she falls asleep.
yeah. I would say drunk driving again. I'm just
Jeez.
just most hours
Do we
drunk
need to have a
driven.
talk with Meg?
No. This is completely joking. As far as I know, she's never stepped into a vehicle being inebriated.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I guess mine would be like, for her, whew,
We're still talking about world record?
yeah.
Okay.
Man, what does she do a lot? She sent me a thing the other day that was like, what are my top 3 most used products or something like that? And I was like, I have no idea. Like
some kind of makeup,
like
or
3
bathroom
items
products.
that I use all the time.
Yeah, yours.
No, her,
Oh,
for
yeah.
her. And I was like, coffee cup? I don't know. I don't know.
I would go to some kind of bathroom product like makeup or
Yeah.
skincare or something.
I said getting on my nerves. Yeah. I mean, I guess maybe for her, gosh, most laundry done in a day.
There you go.
That would be a good one.
Danielle wouldn't even try for that one.
Do you do the laundry?
No, she
Who
does.
does the laundry?
She does 90% of it,
Okay.
but she hates doing laundry.
Gotcha.
Yours would be the highest number of Mammoth clothing shirts in your garage.
Oh, I think I do win that one.
You got
I think
that
I do
one.
win that one.
You got that one.
Oh man. I've thought about like the next time that we have like a guest on, I just give them a whole box
Yes,
of Mammoth product.
do that.
Cause like, it's like, what size do you wear? Large? Okay, here's 25 shirts.
You need to sell those on like $5 a piece. Just go-
Honestly, I've thought about like going to freaking Dirt Cheap and being like, what will you give me
yeah.
for like freaking 50 cents?
Yeah.
50 cents a pop. Yours all day. But I don't know who to talk to at
I
Dirt
might
Cheap.
be able to broker a deal for you. We'll talk off air.
Okay. Yeah, we need to talk off air because that would be taxes as well. How did you describe your partner to family and or friends when you first met?
She's smoking hot.
That's a good one. I mean, that's a good.
Smoking hot and super cool.
Yeah. Gosh, I guess I'd be like,
Now that we've been married for a while,
yeah, yeah.
I'd still say the same thing.
Okay. I would probably say like she drunk drives a lot. I'm just-
My gosh. That's it. I'm talking to Meg.
yeah.
Have an intervention.
Gosh, I probably would have said like she's very attractive. She thinks she's funny. That would have been. It's funny how funny she thinks she is. Like that's a very accurate. Like her jokes just like fall so flat.
Yeah.
But she absolutely loves her jokes and like thinks they're hilarious.
So it's like dad jokes, but
Yeah, but worse.
worse.
But way
Because
worse.
they're not even punny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Like she has this one joke that literally is just a waste of time. And it's a long joke.
I think you told on the podcast one
I
time.
freaking hate it. I freaking hate it. So we'll do this last one and then we can move on. If your partner was given a superlative to their most irritating or quirky personality trait, what would it be? For example, most likely to text you back 4 years later with, sorry, didn't see this.
I do that a lot.
Most likely to drunk drive would probably.
I'm going to tell Meg to listen to this episode.
Yeah, dude, please.
I'm going to say
Most likely to misread a situation.
most likely to misread my attitude towards something.
Yeah.
My, like, she's always thinking I'm mad.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, transparency. At my 30th birthday, it was a great party. I loved it. Meg put it on. It was a surprise. Nobody acknowledged that it was my birthday that day. And I was starting to get like really bummed out because like to me, birthdays are a big deal.
Yeah.
Like anybody's birthday is a big deal. Like I buy birthday presents for people all the time.
You've never bought me one.
Just because I don't know when your birthday is. That's the biggest, like,
It's okay. I don't know when yours is either.
if Danielle told me a week beforehand, hey, Derek's birthday is this day, you would get a birthday present,
That's
hands
awesome.
down. So
remind Danielle.
for sure. Yeah. But like, no, like even my parents and like, that was like a stab at you.
Dagger.
And so, I was like, are we doing anything for my birthday? Like talking to Megan. She was like, I mean, we can go out to dinner with like our friends or whatever, like Lee and Anna. And I was like, that's it. Like, that's all we're doing. Like, I mean, that's cool, I guess. And then one of my buddies texted me and was like, hey, what are you doing tonight? And I was like, Meg said we got this thing, maybe possibly because it's my birthday. And I'll ask her, and they're like, "Oh, it's your birthday." "Oh, yeah, it is your birthday." I was like, "Okay." And so I told Meg, I was like, "Hey, Luke was wanting to know if I could hang out, but like obviously," and she was like, "No, go have fun." And I was like, "Are you freaking kidding me right now?" Like, dude, I was getting so pissed. And then Mammoth had an event that day, and we were set up for the event, and I hadn't heard from my mom all day or my dad. And so I called my mom, and I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" She was like, "Nothing much." And I was like, "Okay." I said, and my older brother's birthday is like a couple of days after mine. And I was like, "Hey, when's Jeb's birthday again?" And she told me, she was like, "Don't worry. And I know yours is the 21st. And I was like, "Okay." I said, "What day is today?" And she was like, "I think it's, oh my God." And I was like, "It's fun. Everything's fun.
Oh my gosh.
Everything's fun." But turns out, and my mom actually did legitimately forget, but it was a big surprise thing. Like, my buddies took me, and we were like driving around and stuff.
So they were part of it.
They were part of it.
Okay.
And then we got to this event, and they pushed me in a pool. And then when I took the blindfold off, everybody was there. It's a really awesome thing. But the whole birthday party was Spider-Man themed. And I was like people were like bringing me presents, and they were like wrapped in Spider-Man presents, like wrapping paper or like bags, and like
Do you like
Spider-Man
Spider-Man?
plays. Well, that's why I was like, towards at a certain point, I was like, thanks. Like, and I was like, why is everything Spider-Man? And my wife was like, "You love Spider-Man." And I was like, "What? I do?" And she was like, "Yeah, we watched the movie, and you kept talking about how great it was." And I was like, "The movie was great. Yeah." I was like, "But I don't own a Spider-Man t-shirt. Like, it's not like I'm not a what?
I'm not a 6-year-old boy.
Yeah." And like, there's been so many situations where it's like, "You love this." And I was like, "No, I don't." Like,
That's awesome.
I got an ice maker for Christmas, and it was based off, I sent her a TikTok a year ago and was like, "Hey, this is pretty cool." And then she was like, "Well, you've been wanting that for a while." And I was like, I forgot all about it until I got this gift. That's just
hilarious.
most likely to misread a situation 100%.
Yep.
But yeah, so that was good. You got a Christmas gift?
I've been racking my brain, dude. And honestly, the only one I can think of that I've even gotten.
Yeah.
Like, I can name you every gift I've given Danielle.
Yeah.
And I'm awful for not remembering any of the ones she's gotten me. But one year she surprised me with a MacBook. And that was probably like the most, like, the coolest gift anybody's got me, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, now there's been like she got me some pictures of our family from my office one year, and that was cool, like framed pictures or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I suck at remembering things like that.
Yeah, I do too. As we were talking about, literally, as you said the word picture, it reminded me of something.
Mm-hmm.
And mine was not even gonna be a Christmas present. But last year for Christmas, so I'm fairly sentimental.
Mm-hmm.
I have t-shirts or clothing that is, I only keep it purely because of sentimental reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else. And last year we had Presley, and I'm very big on, like, this has happened so many times where it's like something happened and it's an amazing moment, and we have Presley and this and that, and then I'm like, Jason never had this. Like, it's like it's just like, it stabs my heart. It's like Jason never had somebody to like ooh and ah over him when he was a baby, or like just whatever the situation could be.
Right.
And so one of my things was, it was like, man, like, we're doing all these things for Presley for Christmas. Like, we have these things that it's like, we're taking pictures of her first Christmas. We're doing this. And I was like, Jason never had that. Meg's mom, very much to her credit, made me bawl my eyes out because she gave us Christmas ornaments with pictures of baby Jason, and like when Jason was younger, and she like filed through like Facebook and like was just like she was like an investigative reporter.
Wow.
And found these pictures and got them printed out and put them in. And I was just like, every single one I was looking at, I was just like,
that is so awesome.
Yeah, it was really, man, that was a great Christmas present, and I will remember that for a very long time.
That's probably
and now
the
we
coolest
have
Christmas present.
Ornaments of Jason
As
when
a
he was a
baby.
baby. Yeah,
That's
and
so
he's
cool.
not gonna. That was one of my things. Is
He
like
didn't want to feel left out.
Yeah, like Jason is gonna be like, why do we have all these pictures of Presley like on the Christmas tree and there's none of me like when I was younger? Because like we haven't had him that long.
Right.
He
was 5 when y'all got him?
Yeah, he was 5. He's 8 now. So we've had him for about 3 years. March will be 3 years.
Yeah.
But like,
that's cool, man.
yeah,
That's
man,
a really cool Christmas present.
Man, it got me.
Oh, yeah. It would have got me too.
Yeah.
I would have choked up.
Yeah. So the one I was going to say before that is not a Christmas present. It was actually on my 30th birthday when I was going through like this gambit of emotions where it was like people forgot this and that. And Meg is not a great gift giver. She has the best intentions and from what she says, puts a lot of thought into it. But I opened everybody else's Christmas presents. She was like, "Do you want to see your Christmas present?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess." And so we go back to her car, and she opens the trunk, and there is a miniature arcade game, the Street Fighter 2, that I had like looked at Walmart and be like, "Man, that'd be so cool." And I knew like how much money it cost and how much money she had, and like, man, I lost it that day too. But I was also very emotional that day because my mom forgot my birthday and I thought everybody else did. So
that's hilarious.
That probably fed into that just a smidge.
So the year before me and Danielle got married, I was single, and my parents. I just moved in with my parents. This is right after me and Caden's mom split up. Anyway, I had Caden with me because it was my birthday, but my parents were on a camping trip, and I was at their house. The power was out, and it was just me and Caden, and nobody, like, I couldn't do anything with anybody. Nobody was doing, and on my birthday, and I was like, so I know how bad that sucks.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But could you imagine, like, at the end of the day,
and then somebody's
like, "Happy birthday!"
I would have felt so bad because I was like wallowing in my self pity.
I was,
yeah, but nobody actually threw me a birthday party. So,
but you were single, so like you didn't have anybody to, yeah. And now your life's great. Your life's great.
The next birthday party, Danielle did throw me a surprise birthday.
There
party,
you go.
Which was cool.
I told Meg no more surprise birthday parties ever.
Really?
Yeah,
Danielle,
because of how depressed I was that day.
She's still mad at me because I didn't throw a surprise birthday party on her 30th. Like I was supposed to.
Yeah.
She says she told me she wanted one. And
When's the next big one?
Don't remember
Do it
that.
then.
What's the next big one after 30?
I guess 40.
So I gotta wait. Oh, she's 33. I gotta wait 7 more
Me and
years.
Danielle are the same age.
She's born in 89.
Me too.
February of 89.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Yep. I like them young.
You're not that much older.
She's like 3 years, 2.5 years younger than me.
Yeah. I was about to say you're not 40.
No.
Man.
Nice. Where we at?
58 minutes. Pretty right there on it.
Yeah.
I will say this. There's a UFC fight this weekend. Big UFC fight. 283. A lot of big things going on the card. There were 2 horrible decisions. It came down to the judges. If you leave the fight in the judges' hands, literally, like this is like a common known thing within the UFC. You leave the fight in the judges' hands, and you're gonna get screwed.
Mm-hmm.
There's a high likelihood that you get screwed, and that is what happened in 2 cases this weekend. Paddy the Baddy. I don't know if you've seen anything about him. Mm-hmm. He's like a British guy. They're trying to hype him up as the next Conor McGregor. What everybody saw this weekend is that he is not the next Conor McGregor.
Really?
But the decision got left in the judge's hands, and it was clear that he did not win the fight, but he won the fight. So, and then in the main card was a fairly big fight as well. and it was a fairly good fight, I would say. But at the end of that fight too, it was let's see, I don't want to get the names wrong. Okay, that is not the fight. Where's the fight at? What the heck? Oh. If you couldn't hear that, I farted.
Oh,
282. Yeah,
we gotta hurry up and end this one before I smelt.
Ankalaev versus Jan. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna screw his name up, so I'm not even gonna say it. Jan versus Ankalaev, and these Russian dudes have just been swamping the UFC right now. They're so good at wrestling, and it's like historically, if you are a good wrestler, then you can make it pretty far in the UFC because it's a very good place to like put a bunch of chips because you can control the fight. Yeah, if you wrestle really well. So, theirs was for the light heavyweight title. And it was a 5-rounder. First round, kind of a toss-up. Whoever you thought would have been, like, could have been either one of them. Second and third round were very clearly Jan. Fourth and fifth round were very clearly the Russian. And it came down to a judge's decision, and the scorecards were so massively different. Like, one scorecard gave a ton of points. Like if there's in the UFC, typically a round goes 10-9. So like 10 points for one, 9 points for the other. It can go 10 points to one guy and 8 points to the other guy. If there is just like this guy didn't even stand a chance against this guy in the round. Like there was no movement on this guy's end, and it was clearly this guy. There were rounds that were given that were 10-8s that weren't even close to a 10-8. And then at the end of the night, it was a draw. So it came down to a decision. Judges scored it a draw. So light heavyweight title is still vacant. And the Russian guy at the end of it was like, I don't know if I can continue to fight for this organization if this is the way that judging goes. But to UFC's defense, they have no choice in who judges are, because you go to a state or something else, and the commission gets the judges for your event. So it's a very unbiased, supposed to be unbiased system, but there's a lot of people that are saying it's ruining the UFC. The judging is. So I don't know.
Why don't they fight until somebody either taps out or just?
That's the way it used to be.
Gets the crap beat out of them.
In the original UFC, like UFC 1, 2, 3.
Why do they not do it that way anymore? Fighter health. Fighter health, I guess.
I would say probably fighter health, and you don't know when this thing's going to end. Like, I mean, you could theoretically, two people would fight for an hour, because I mean, and that's what would happen in some situations. But then you get to that point, and it's like these two dudes are just tired, and they're laying on top of each other, and like neither one of them can get the best of the other. And so it's like it sounds like a good, kind of a good way to do things, but also there's some major drawbacks to it. Sure. I think the system right now is fairly decent, and it shows a lot of the best of the fighter. Okay. You know what I mean? Yeah. 5-rounders are a little bit like, they show you, like, once you get down in the depths, like how tough these guys can be. Because it's 5-minute rounds, and that's a long time. Yeah. And it's a lot of, that's 25 minutes of fighting. And so, but I don't know. And the judging is definitely messing up the UFC, but it's kind of like somebody else said the other day. It's like, well, if you want to win the fight, win the fight. Don't let it go to the judge's hands. Right. Knock the other guy out, tap him out, whatever you got to do. But if you can't do that, then it's on you what the decision is. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's it.
Well, guys, thanks for listening.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about the UFC 282 thing because it was like it's been so quick.
Yeah.
Like it was like this past weekend.
Uh-huh.
This is coming out 2 weekends from now. It doesn't even matter. It's so stupid. There's going to be another fight between now and then.
Well, we'll talk about that one then.
We'll see.
Awesome. Well, guys, thanks for listening. Y'all have a great week. Hope you have a Merry Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho, ho.
Your mom.
Oh.